Nishant, what's going on? Just waiting for a few people to join. What's up, Crypto Kev? Timmy, what's going on? Hey, what's up, Yesi? How are you? I need to get some music in this, man. It's funny because a lot of people complain about, well, not a lot of people, but it's almost 50-50. Like when I have music in the background, some people are like, you need to do that more often. And then when I don't have music, and then when I do have music, some people say, it's distracting. You shouldn't be doing that. It's unprofessional. So I don't know. We'll see. I go back and forth with that. What's going on, Jazzy? David, what's up? I think we have two Davids. David Allen, David O. What's going on, guys? What's up, Carlos? We'll just give it, since it's exactly 11 a.m. my time, we'll give it a couple more minutes before we get started. Maybe a minute. What's up, Heckmang? I also need to get one of those chat plugins that makes this look more pretty, instead of having this pop up right here that's distracting the screen. So we'll see. What's up, John? Gladiators, Dave Hebs, Crypto Kev again, Raw Top Shot. What's going on? All right, so we can go ahead and get started, and people will just start flowing in. Lead Review Exchange, you're 4 hours behind me. Okay, cool. What's up, Brian? Thanks, man. Thanks for your support. All right. So what's going on with Bitcoin right now? And obviously the market in general, since it drives the market. We did kind of expect to see a dip because it is the weekend. But I wasn't sure if it would dip below our uptrend support line here, right? If you heard if you saw my video from yesterday, you would see that, I was basically saying that this uptrend support line wasn't really valid anymore because we weren't in an uptrend anymore. This was actually, and I mean, this is the issue with support lines. Not really an issue, but relying on just support lines as opposed to other forms of indicators as well, you can get duped. So, if we take out the last few days of trading, this is what your support line would be. And now your support line, obviously with new information, has to be redrawn, which is fine. And you should redraw your support lines and your resistance lines. But it's definitely, it shows you that it's not perfect because it is malleable, and you can actually, and we'll see when we take a look at other coins, you'll see that this is the case even more so than on Bitcoin. So I'm just going to remove this line right here, and we'll focus on the downtrend resistance. So we're still obviously in a downtrend resistance. I redid the Fibonacci, and I get this question all the time as to, do you start from the bottom up or the top down? It really depends on what it is that you're measuring, right? So if you're measuring a downtrend, right? So we want to see how far low we're going to go and whether we'll bounce off certain support lines. Then you want your one level to be, at the swing low, and your zero level to be at the swing high or at a resistance level that you're tracking. In this case, I have the top of this fib line at the double top right here. You'll see that we have a clean double top, as well as this is roughly the same line that we saw previous resistance towards the end of January. So it shows that this right here is a point of heavy resistance. So anyway, that's why I started the fib here, and we used this double top as well as the previous resistance as the zero line or the top of the fib retracement, right? So you could see that we fell below the 0.5 fib level, which was at 9,243, and we are currently at around $9,000. Now, the next level down on the 0.618, which is considered a golden ratio, or one of these important ratios, I don't subscribe to that 100%. Like I do use it as a good guide, but obviously it depends on your fib retracement and what you're measuring and what you're drawing. So the 0.618 ratio will be different depending on people's view, like different traders' charts and stuff. So anyway, the 0.618 ratio here is at 8,700. So the bad news is that today's Saturday and tomorrow's Sunday, because we have seen a Sunday dip consistently for the last 6 weeks, minus last week. If we take a look at what was last Sunday, so if today is the 10th, last Sunday was, or let's see, 7th, last Sunday was the 4th. So if we take a look at March 4th, you could see that this last Sunday, actually Saturday and Sunday, were actually green, but we hadn't seen that in a while. So, and in terms of the RSI, as I said numerous times previously, if we go down to the oversold level, that would be the first time in years that we've actually hit an oversold level, like you see here in the beginning of February, and haven't thereafter hit an overbought level. It will be the first time in years that we hit an oversold level and then hit an oversold level again without hitting the overbought level. So what that basically is designed to show is momentum and weakening momentum at that. In terms of volume, we're still like pretty low on the buy volume. If you saw my video from a few days ago, you'll see I pulled up an article that said that we're at a 2-year low in terms of buy volume, and you do see a lot of sell volume. Obviously, there were those news stories about the Bitcoin whales selling off massive amounts of Bitcoin periodically, and you do see that supported by the volume here. Let me go back to the chat real quick and say hi to some people. Hey Francois, what's up from Montreal? Cool, sound is good now. Sunny D, what's up? Craft Costanza, what's up? There's always a few people that say that the sound is not good. Is it me or is it you? Do the rest of you hear static? I don't know. All right. Anyway. Okay. What's up, guys? So let's go back to the charts then. Eventually I will get 2 screens so that I can actually have the chat, popped up on one window so that I can keep reading instead of having to pull it up. But I do have 2 screens. I just don't have any room in front of me to place it right now. All right. So that is what's going on with BTC. I do expect to see a bit more of a dip tomorrow, or at least some sort of stagnation. If we do dip down to the 0.618 levels, that will be a good entry point in order to scale your buy-ins. Again, I'm not a big believer in putting all of your eggs in one basket at a certain price point. I do believe in scaling your buy-ins. So if we do hit that 0.618 level at 8,700, you might put 25% of your Bitcoin budget there and then wait to see how the market reacts. But we'll see if by the start of next week, we can get some more buy volume and the market pick back up again, as opposed to keep dwindling. Because if by Monday we're still dwindling, and we cross well below that 0.618 level, then it might be bad news, at least in the short term. I think in the long term we'll be fine, but at least in the short term. All right, so there were a few coins that you guys had actually asked me in the Discord. Let's go to general. That's cool, man. Some guy posted a screenshot of me looking really sleepy on the live chat. Let's see. You guys wanted me to look at where was that? Yeah, so ADA, so Cardano, Neo, DGD. So let's look at those real quick. So here's Cardano. Now, Cardano is just looks like, I don't know, just looks like a dead coin in terms of the charts, obviously, not in terms of the fundamentals. But in terms of the charts, like you could see that this is since the beginning of January, almost at New Year's, right? There is it just looks like a roller coaster at Six Flags, right? It's just dipping hard with no signs of even retracing back up. There aren't any real bullish indicators. This right here, this dragonfly looking doji that we had on the beginning of February might have been a fake out, and was probably a sign that, or people probably took it as a sign that we were going to see a bullish trend reversal, but obviously that's not the case, and we're just at a free fall. The one thing that's really, couple things that are really worrying about Cardano, at least from a technical standpoint, right? Look at this volume. I mean, it's so low that it barely registers on the chart. Like we had this healthy volume here. Obviously, this was part of that end of November, December bull run. And then a little bit after New Year's, you had some buy volume. But look at how dead this volume is. I mean, it's just unbelievably low. There aren't many coins in the top, top 30 that show this kind of volume consistently. Another thing that's really worrying, the RSI, it shows a lack of momentum. So when the RSI, there are different theories on how to read the RSI, right? But when you first learn about the RSI, you learn that, oh, it's supposed to tell you whether something's oversold or overbought. So if it hits oversold, then you know it's a good indication to buy. That's not really the case. Like as you start learning more and more, you'll know that RSI is really a measure of strength and momentum over anything. So if you have similar RSI levels, but the price keeps moving down, that's a really bearish sign. So there is really not much love being shown for Cardano right now. If you're looking for an alt to diversify for the long term, if you like the fundamentals of Cardano, then we might be at, you might be able to pick it up for really cheap even if you wait longer. Like there's no sign of this, shifting momentum, or there's no sign of really a reversal on the horizon. The only thing I will say is that the MACD is starting. The MACD has converged, but that doesn't really mean anything if you don't see the 12, which is the blue line, cross above the 26 and start to move away from the 26, right? Like just because they're crossed right now, I mean, this could go on for a while before any kind of significant change happens. So, I mean, Cardano, if it falls, it could fall down to pre-December levels, maybe. So I would actually wait on the sidelines. There's no need to rush into Cardano. Let's go back to the chat real quick. Not that. Where is the chat at? All right. Are we? Can you guys hear me? Cool. It's fixed now. It's good now. Blah, blah, blah. All right. At the beginning of 2017, ETH was at 44. In 2018, it reached 1,000. I believe NEO would do the same in 2018. NEO, I'm really bullish on. We'll go over it in a second. That was one of the ones that you guys requested. And it's one that I've been bullish on for a while. And I'll show you, even if you take the fundamentals aside and you just look at the technicals, there is reason for optimism. Scott Pugsley, thanks for teaching. Well, I teach and I learn as well. I learn every single day from you guys. So, and that's why I love the Discord. So if you're not part of the Discord, join the Discord. It's free. The link should be in the description somewhere. We have really productive and educational conversations going on every single day. So do that. All right, let's look at NEO real quick. So on NEO, and here's what I was talking about in terms of, I'll show you why I'm really optimistic about it. So what I was saying yesterday, if you follow the trade alerts on the Discord, sign up to the Patreon for the trade alerts, you'll see them here, and I don't mind showing the screen since these are still, these are outdated trade alerts, obviously, but this is what they look like. So if you follow the trade alerts, you'll see that I had sent, when I sent a NEO trade alert for long-term play yesterday, I think it was, or it might have been the day before, I was pointing at this right here to show you what a bull trap looks like, right? So you always hear in YouTube comments and on the Discord, people say, oh yeah, that's a bull trap, that's a bull trap. But then when you look at the chart, it's not really a bull trap. So a bull trap is when the market gives you a strong signal that there's a reversal on the horizon, and you identify that as a traditionally bullish reversal, and then it's kind of like a fake out, right? Like a pump fake. The market then quickly turns in the other direction and dips. So just because, say, the price of BTC retraces back to 9,300, that's not really a bull trap. But if you look at NEO, we had this descending wedge here, right? Coming out of a bull run, you have a descending wedge. And what usually happens, what you usually see, is if the market then breaks out of this descending wedge and gives you bullish reversal signs, you do see a bull run then forming right after that descending wedge. So, you see this candle right here where the one is on the TD sequential. This broke out of the descending wedge resistance. Then you had the next candle, then the next candle, and it was showing, and these were healthy, full-bodied green candles. And then, even up to the fourth candle after the breakout. So if you were waiting for a buy signal and you were patient, you could have waited for the third or fourth day and said, okay, this is enough confirmation. I'm going to make a move and get into an entry position on NEO. However, the market then quickly downturned, and obviously we're still very beholden to Bitcoin. So a lot of this doesn't have anything really to do with NEO, but it has to do with Bitcoin and then evidently the entire crypto market. So this is where you see this, the bearish downtrend once again. Now, the reason that I'm optimistic for NEO, if you take a look at this from a different perspective, I'm going to remove the TD sequential real quick. If you redraw these trend lines, you'll see that since January, NEO has been trading in a consistent rectangular channel pattern, right? So it's really been trading sideways. And you can use this right here as your range, right? And you can see that we're currently, the support is currently at this previous support and resistance from January 12th and January 13th right here. So what happens with NEO here is pretty important. I wouldn't say it's detrimental for the long term, but it's pretty important at least in the short or mid term, right? So if we break this, then we could see a cheaper NEO price, and you might be able to pick it up for the long term even cheaper if it breaks this support right here. So that is what that is why I was saying that I was bullish on NEO, even just from a technicals perspective, because it is trading within this channel, and it's pretty consistent as a crypto can get, right? It's not showing a ton of volatility. This is on the day chart. So with all of the crashes and the ups and downs and the 1,000 Bitcoin crashes that we've had so far in 2018, NEO's been pretty steady. Again, as steady as a crypto could be. Now, on the RSI, you do see it losing momentum a bit, but that is also supported by the price. Again, from looking at Cardano, I was saying that if we see similar RSI levels, but the price continues to dip, then that is a sign of major weakness. But we don't really see that with NEO. When the price does dip, you see the RSI dip as well. But that's usually expected. So I'm still bullish on NEO from a long-term perspective. I think that if you haven't made a play on NEO yet, you can wait to see how it reacts to this support line right here. And if it does break the support line and significantly go below, then look for it to hit this previous resistance and support that we saw on January 11th and January 12th. So this is around 896 Satoshis. 1, 2, 3. Yeah. All right. Let's go back to the chat real quick. Where did the chat go? Oh, right here. Everything's good. XRP, please. Okay, I'll look at XRP, but some people, OMG as well. Some people had requested a few coins before that, so I'll do that. Sunny D, problem is, this is an interesting point. Problem is not a lot of TA. A lot of TA is not usable right now due to the assholes at Mt. Gox selling BTC in large volumes. So the TA can only help in normal market conditions. I will say this. Certain indicators work better when we are not in violent trends, right? So if we're not in a violent uptrend or a sudden downtrend, yes, you're right. Certain technical indicators work better when the market is not acting in a volatile fashion. The thing with crypto is that it is almost always volatile, except for the period that we had. We've had certain periods, obviously, like in 2000, maybe beginning of 2017, where even if there was some volatility, it doesn't match the volatility that we see now, or the volatility that we've seen even, before the holidays. So yes, you're right in terms of technical analysis, certain technical analysis being more accurate when the market is not in a major swing pattern, right? However, and I'll always argue this, I'll always be on the side of this. Technical analysis, it's on its own. Obviously, you do need fundamental analysis. You do need to know what's going on in the news, but without knowing how to set support and resistance lines and entry and exit patterns, and base your stop losses off of certain things that you see in the chart, I don't believe that you could be a successful day trader, or at least swing trader for that matter. If you just say to yourself, yes, I like Neo, I like Bitcoin, I like Litecoin, and you buy those and just want to hold forever, that's fine. But the majority of the people, at least the ones in my audience and the ones that I see on other YouTubers' channels, they're incessantly checking the charts every single day, and they're looking to make trades frequently, right? So whether you are conscious of it or not, you might not know that you're a swing trader or a day trader, or even just acting like one. But if you're incessantly checking the charts every day, and you are panic selling or purchasing out of FOMO, then you are doing more than investing. I'm not making a judgment as to whether you're doing it right or wrong. That aside, you are doing more than just investing, because an investor, a traditional investor like a Warren Buffett type, would just look at the projects from a fundamental standpoint and say, yes, I like these. I can see that they'll be around in 15 years. So let me buy here and just hold and close my laptop and fall asleep for 15 years and see what happens. And obviously, you make adjustments here and then, but not the way that you guys are doing, and the way that even, I obviously check the charts every single day and I make trades all the time. But that's my prerogative. That's what I like to do when it comes to trading. So yeah, I mean, if you're doing that and you're not looking at charts, or you don't know the basics of looking at charts, or at least not trying to learn how to look at charts, then I don't think that you're being an effective trader. So yes, again, Sunny D, in terms of technical analysis being more relevant in non-volatile environments versus when the markets are acting really swingy, that is true. But still, knowing how to read resistance and support levels and knowing where to exit out of trades based on a chart is extremely important if you're going to be charting and monitoring and trading on a daily basis. So that's it. Hello from London, UK. What's up, Franco D? Hello from California at the moment. All right, so let's keep going with the analysis. Another one that you guys wanted to look at was DGD. Now, this is interesting for me. So I've mentioned DGD in a trade alert. I've also mentioned it in the chat before. I might have mentioned it on a video before. Let me just hide this TD sequential since it is getting really cluttered. DGD, there's some, I guess, some misconception about what it is. So DGD, there was some thought that DGD was backed by gold bullion, right? Now, in terms of the token itself, it is not. What is going to be backed by gold bullion, and I'll pull up their website right here. So what is going to be backed by gold bullion is their DGX gold token, right? Not the DigixDAO token, which is what we're currently trading as DGD. So this right here is designed as a crowdfunding token. And then when this is released, we will get some news as to, maybe how to convert these to these, or what allocation they're going to provide people who hold DGD tokens. So this right here is crowdfunding the project itself. It's an Ethereum-based token. Both of them are. But this DGX is currently not tradable from what I understand, right? You see even here, it says slated for release by end of Q1 2018. We're coming up on that date, so I wonder if they'll announce some delays or if we will actually get released, at the end of Q1 2018. But this one right here, you'll see each token represents 1 gram of standard gold and secured in safe house vaults. So this is the one that's actually gold backed. This right here is backing the project itself. So, you know, if I added to that misconception previously or didn't explain it, you know, this articulately, then my apologies. But I do see that, you know, on other chat rooms as well, and other YouTube comments, people have the misconception that this right here is gold backed, where it's actually the DGX token is gold backed. This right here, we are crowdfunding the project itself. Now here's what's interesting. I you know, just like Tether, where there is some question as to whether it is truly backed by, you know, every single Tether is truly backed by one USD. They have their work cut out for them, right? So Digix is going to have to somehow prove that each token, each DGX token, is actually backed by 1 gram of gold bullion. I'm sure that, you know, there's going to be some sort of regulatory body or somebody, some corporation or something that's going to want to check on that and verify that they can actually verify that. And then you'll see here, it says redeem 100 DGX tokens for 100 grams of physical gold via personal or mail. Now, I don't know if that means that you can actually show up somewhere to, you know, wherever they're keeping the gold at and say, you know, here, I'm going to transfer 100 DGX tokens. I want 100 grams of actual gold, or mail it to you. I mean, that's kind of weird. I would like to see how they're going to carry that out. But yeah, so just so there's no misconception, this is right here is what's backed by gold. This is just backing the project itself. Nonetheless, you see DGD, it is, you know, pretty new on the markets. We only have data going back to around December, end of November, really. And it is, you know, quite volatile for the short life that it's spent on the charts. However, you do see it sometimes. What's weird about DGD is you do see it react in opposite fashion to Bitcoin. So the times that we've seen Bitcoin crash in 2018, you see DGD actually going up, and then vice versa. I would say that since beginning of February, it's kind of consistent. Again, we're talking about crypto, so consistent is a relative term, but you do see it, you know, trading in this channel right here. Obviously, this was the swing low support line, but you do kind of see it trading. If we take that outlier out of the mix, you do see it trading within this channel right here. So I do think that it is a great project because it is the most well-known of its kind, right? Like there might be other blockchains that purport to back the tokens by gold bullion, but it's definitely the most well-known, and people are actually looking for a way to use an alternative to Tether and to fiat, right? So since I don't use Tether anymore, and I advised people, especially during the subpoena period, and you know, until they work that out and we can verify that there isn't any issue, you know, if you're not using Tether, how else are you going to park your funds when you want to sit on the sidelines? You're most likely, you know, either forced to go into fiat or put into something like Bitcoin or Ethereum. But what if Bitcoin and Ethereum are in a volatile state at the moment? This, I think, would provide a great alternative since it's supposedly backed by gold. So I'm really paying attention to Digix, looking to see if they can hit the dates that are on the roadmap, especially with regards to the release of the DGX coin. And then I want to know how it is, if there's any sort of you know, translation between the DGD token and the DGX token. Like, will they allow you to trade your DGD for a certain amount of DGX and whatnot? So we'll see how that goes. We'll continue monitoring the situation and go from there. Let us go back to the chat. 777 Roger Lee, thanks for all the info. Thanks for your support, man. Thanks for your support. Sandro, how do you guys feel about Verge? I'll go over Verge if we have time. There's a couple of other tokens that I want to go into. XRP, a couple people have been asking about this, so I might go into that. Franco, you should get onto Binance. Oh, I guess he's talking to some other user. Oh, Franco D. Okay. Yeah, Binance. I love Binance as well. If people spent as much time doing the research as they did looking at charts, they would be a lot richer. I'm not sure. I mean, obviously, you know, that is a chat comment, and so there isn't really much context that we can provide or go into a discussion between you and I, Crypto Slice. But I don't think it's one or the other. People look at charts because you assume that they're trading, right? No one is really looking at charts for a fundamental perspective of the viability of a blockchain project. You can't obviously see that through charts. There might be projects that are amazing, like Neo has a really good outlook, or sorry, not Neo, but say like Cardano. Some people might feel really bullish in terms of their project, but the chart looks terrible, right? And vice versa. You might see things that chart really well, but they're just considered a shit coin. A lot of people don't like Ripple, for instance, as a blockchain project, especially since it's super centralized and the company owns most of the coins. So yeah, a chart can't tell you everything, but I do think you need to do both, because if you did just fundamental research, you can get burned as well. There's no there's no safety net that fundamentals will give you over charts, or that charts will give you over fundamentals. You need to look at both, because you can have a great cryptocurrency project that actually will go broke because there's not enough funding or marketing surrounding it. So yeah, I mean, we're in a really, really young market, and there isn't any kind of proving ground or proven ground for these cryptos just yet. We'll see how it plays out. That's part of the reason why it's so exciting is we actually don't know what coins will be around in 2 years or 5 years, or how the exchanges will operate at that time, or what's going to be regulated and what's not. And if there is regulation, how is the public going to react to that, right? Do they take crypto underground, and do privacy coins become more popular? Who knows, man? Who knows? So read the chart all year wrong and still get it wrong. Yes, you can, but it depends, King of the Bazaar. It depends on what you define as wrong. If you're talking about trading and you have exit strategies, which you always should, before you buy a coin, you should know when you're going to get out, and at what point you're going to get out, at what point you're going to take profit, at what point you're going to take a loss, right? So getting it wrong to me is just looking at a chart, watching your portfolio dive to 80, 90% losses, and you do nothing about it. And if you were at that point at one place at one point in time, if you were at that place at one point in time, or you're currently, trying to learn how to deal with that now, at least you're on the path of learning. But not doing something about it, or not learning how to take action, that to me is what getting it wrong is. Of course, nobody can tell you, the extent of a trend, or, what price something is going to be at. And that doesn't just apply to crypto, that applies to anything really. No one is saying that you can read a chart and get the price right, but you can identify trends in order to set yourself up for success and not for failure. That's really it. It's not, oh yeah, I predicted that Bitcoin was going to be 10,000 on March 31st and I got it right. No, nobody cares about that. Like, no one's going to reward you for that, right? What you're trying to do is make sure that you have a sound portfolio and that you're trading responsibly. That's it. Whether it's cryptos, whether it's commodities, whether it's options or stocks, it's all the same shit. It's all the same shit. 777 Roger Lee. What is RSI? RSI stands for Relative Strength Index. I went over it a bit earlier in the video, but it gives you an indication of, it really is an indication of strength and momentum. If you are new to RSI, I will give you the basic term or the basic definition that people learn first, and then you can go ahead and do more research on your own. But basically, you have this channel right here, right? This in this purple zone. Above it is 70, below it is 30. When you see a security move above the 70, it's considered overbought. When it moves below the 30, it's considered oversold. Again, it's not as simple as that. I would not make trading decisions solely based off the RSI. You do want to take into account things such as price, MACD, resistance levels, support levels, movement of the candles, the size of the candles, etc. There are many different factors to take into account. RSI could be a very beneficial indicator, but on its own, it's just like any other indicator, should not be used on its own. But go ahead and read up on it. It stands for Relative Strength Index. All right, Tarmo Millman. I'm looking to get into crypto to make some HODL investments, but I do not know what is the best entry price. What you think? How far down will this bear market go? I just got done saying this, bro. Nobody can tell you the extent of a trend. Nobody can tell you what price something will be at what point. You have to learn how to scale your purchases, right? So that you get the best average price. So as I was saying before, if you take a look at Bitcoin, for instance, currently you could tell whether we're trading at a discount or not based on recent price history, right? So if we currently are at around 9,000, if we break below that and we get into the 8,000s, yes, you can make you can justify a buy-in at a certain level as long as you are treading carefully and scaling your buy-in. So you might, if you have $100 to spend, you might put in, this is just theoretical. Obviously you could have 1,000 or 100,000. I don't know what your budget is like, but you say, for simplicity's sake, you have $100 to spend. You could put $25 into Bitcoin at 8,700. Wait to see how the market reacts. If it drops back down to 8,200, you could put another 25% in, and so forth and so on. And then if the market breaks out and shows you that it is, breaking out into a bullish reversal, then you can trade that signal or that market confirmation signal that we are actually in a bullish reversal. So hopefully I answered your question there. And in terms of HODL investments, again, crypto is an unproven ground, right? So I would stick to projects or coins that are considered blue chip if all you're looking to do is HODL. The good thing, I will say, Tarmo Millman, the good thing is that you are entering crypto during this time within this price range at this market cap, which is considered low compared to where we were during the holidays, right? At the end of 2017 is when a lot of people got interested and bought Bitcoin really high. And among other things, not just Bitcoin, but especially Bitcoin, because that is the most popular one and the one that is at the forefront of the mainstream media. So that is, hopefully I answered your questions. Join the Discord if you're not already. And yeah, you can have discussions with the group as well as myself, and we could talk about this all the time. Mason, you're wearing a Nike shirt, am I? Oh yeah, I am. I mean, if you've been following the videos, that's not really different from most other days. I do have a lot of Nike gear. I should be sponsored by them. Nike, sponsor this damn video, at least the live ones. All right. So do you use the gainer and loser chart to look for day trades or coins? James Hill is asking that. Not on its own. And I assume that you're talking about the coin market cap one, right? So no, I don't use that on its own for sure. Let me go to coin market cap. And this is what I assume you're talking about, right? Let me just pull it up real quick. My internet's acting really slow, probably because I'm streaming. So you're talking about this trending section, right? Come on. Yeah, I look at certain things on here just to have a sense of what's going on. But recently, and if you saw one of my earlier videos, I was talking about altcoin season, and the difference between altcoin season last year and this year is that, after the first half of 2017, in 2017, we had 801 new altcoins, most of them coming after the first half of 2017. So if you look here at the biggest gainers, a lot of these are shit coins that are susceptible to pump and dumps, right? Like when volume is really low, like look at how low the volume is on these supposedly these top gainers, right? 217,000, 346,000. You see some of them in the tens of thousands, right? 79,000, 99,000. Like, what do you think this is? Nobody is seriously looking at this. These are all, for the most part of a pump and dump group, because the coins have such low volume they're susceptible to pumping and dumping. It's so easy to pump the price up. Excuse me, sorry. Apologies. It's so easy to pump the price up. So if you look at all these gainers, like tell me how many of these have you really heard of? Strike, Bit Club, C Fund, Space Chain, Voice, Anime Coin, BitGem. These are all shit coins, and you could just tell by the volume, right? There isn't really anything on here that is worth looking at, for the most part. So yeah, I look at it sometimes just to get a flavor of what's going on, but what I look at more is obviously this page right here, right? Because I just want a snapshot of what is going on in the last 7 days, 24 hours, and 1 hour. But I still don't make trades just based off of this. I might look at something and see if I can spot something interesting. So I might look at Monero, for instance, right? We have the Monero V fork coming up. And you look at it in the last 7 days and you're like, whoa, it lost 23%. I wonder what's going on there. And then I might dig for some news articles that might explain that, and then look at the charts to see what else is going on. And then also, you know, there are certain times, for instance, when Ethereum has stood up really strongly during the market crashes or the bear markets, especially in the earlier this year. Ethereum was just acting like a bull during the January bear markets. But then it started losing steam. So I might look at whether Ethereum is dropping at a faster rate than, say, Litecoin or Bitcoin to get a sense of the market and what are the blue chip coins doing. But just making trades specifically off of gainers and losers, no, I really don't. It's just tainted right now, right? It's diluted. There's just too much shit. Too many shit coins. So hopefully that answers your question. Let's see. Is there any other question that you guys would like me to answer right now? Scott Pugsley jumped into crypto to hodl, but what is long-term in crypto? 2 years, 5 or 50? That is a great question. Again, this is a new landscape. We're in the baby stages. We don't know what long-term is. I mean, you do see there are certain things like Bitcoin IRAs, for instance, which obviously are focused on the long term. I don't think Bitcoin is going anywhere, right? Just merely based off of its characteristics, the fact that it's open source, the fact that it's decentralized. It might not be the greatest way to pay, come a year down the line or 2 years down the line, but I don't think Bitcoin is going anywhere. But how we trade things, that might change, unfortunately. The ICO process, that might change. The exchanges, I'm sure we'll see some sort of like IP blocks or whatnot. I heard Doug Polk talk about this earlier, and I was part of that because I played online poker as well. Obviously, he's a really accomplished poker player, but I've talked about this before too. I remember Black Friday. Black Friday was when they had shut down the online poker sites. And obviously things like DraftKings, for those that don't live in the United States, DraftKings is basically, it basically is online gambling on sports, but they have positioned it in a way where it is done through the guise of fantasy sports. So it's more of a skill game. Like you pick the players, the NFL players or the NBA players, that you think are going to do well, and you put them on a team. And then based on how many points they score or how they do in a game, you would get, you would get a score, and then whoever does the best gets paid out. So essentially it is gambling. And you can't tell me that poker is not a game of skill. For those of you that play poker, you would know that. So I remember when the government shut down, Full Tilt and PokerStars in the U.S., and unfortunately it happened in one day. Like there was no warning or anything. Like you just woke up and you saw an email saying that, the government cracked down on it. And that was, I think, 2012, I want to say 2011, 2012. And there was no legislation since that brought back the online poker sites in the United States. If you live in Nevada where, gambling is legal, that's a different story. But most of the U.S. states, we've never seen online poker again. So I hope that's not the case with the crypto exchanges, but who knows? Who knows what's long-term in this field. So, all right. Greg, same dude, online grinder right here. Yep, you and I, man. I don't know. Are you in the U.S. though? because I'm very envious of the poker brothers and sisters who get to play in Europe and Brazil and whatnot. So, yeah. All right. Do you ever smash the bid or ask when you're trading? Smash the bid or ask when you're trading. I'm not sure what you mean by that. You mean like the button? I'm not sure what you mean. XRP and Tron. Okay, I'll go over those. Are you planning to do any YouTube live videos on live trading as well? Yeah, I mean, if I get enough requests for that, I would definitely do that. I would definitely do that if I get enough requests for that. I'll probably set up a Binance account that just has funds in it that I use for live trading. I've said it before. I get kind of uncomfortable. I used to do it in the beginning where I would show my portfolio. Now I just show the percentages really and not the entire amount. So I would. It's pretty easy to set up a secondary Binance account. So I would set up a Binance account and put funds in there that I just plan on live trading. So Bosco, well, you can use VPN. Yeah, of course you can. But unfortunately, we need a lot of traders in crypto for for there to be a healthy market cap and for the prices. You see that now. I mean, low volume is what's killing the market. So some people will definitely use a VPN, but not everybody is skilled in that, and it definitely won't be something mainstream to where we get hundreds of billions of dollars flowing in just through VPN VPN access. So please do that. Live trading sounds awesome. Okay, I might do that. It might be something that I do for an extended period, like longer than 45 minutes or an hour live stream, just so that we can see the results of the trade. But obviously, we'd have to be more like a day trade if we're looking to see whether the results were successful, or we could do long-term holds, and I can show you how I look at things and chart things and get in and out of trades. So, all right, let's go back to the charts and do a couple more. We did NEO, Cardano, DGD, Bitcoin. XRP was requested. So let us do XRP. All right. Where is the Binance one? There it is. All right. So we are looking at the day chart. Let's just switch to the 4-hour to get somewhat of a tighter increment. I'm going to remove this fib retracement real quick. And XRP looks kind like on the long term, kind of looks like Cardano. And there's a few other ones. I think Stellar Lumens look like this long term as well. I'm not sure. We can look at that after this. But yeah, I mean, it's kind of a steady downtrend since the beginning of January. There were a few pops here and there. You see this bull trap, or what is traditionally called a bull. The proper name for a bull trap is a whipsaw, but bull trap sounds way better. So we'll stick to bull trap. So you could see that there were a couple of run-ups here and here, but momentum is definitely being lost on Ripple. I'm not sure what's going on with Ripple. I think, I don't know why, but there seems to be this, strong anticipation for Ripple being added to Coinbase, and Ripple's sort of in this event, in this I guess stratosphere, where if that doesn't happen, then nobody cares about Ripple news, right? So if the only news that they want to hear out of Ripple is that it's added to Coinbase, and if there's an announcement that Ripple makes and it's not, hey, Ripple's being added to Coinbase, then it's almost like investors like, oh, fuck, and they just start selling the Ripple, or, you see the price tanking, or nobody buys just based off of that. So it's really funny because Ripple has a lot of what you consider good news signing up with, this bank or that bank or Western Union or this government or that government. And there's certainly a practical, applicable use for Ripple. It's definitely not built in the spirit of cryptocurrency, right? It's not decentralized. The company itself owns most of the tokens. It really operates more like a corporation rather than a blockchain development team. But that aside, I mean, maybe that's its downfall. I don't know. Maybe crypto traders don't like it. Maybe Ripple needs to be traded on the New York Stock Exchange eventually and just go public. So yeah, and then there's obviously a question as to whether the token itself has intrinsic value. you know, I mean, currently does have some market value, obviously, right? It's trading at 87.48 satoshis. Um, but there's question as to whether it has intrinsic value, or is the token just used as a medium of transporting payments through the Ripple system. And you know, there was some talk about Ripple giving away their tokens for free to the banks, or you know, buying back the tokens and doing a burn of some sort. So yeah, in terms of trading, um, again, just like Cardano, I don't think there's any reason to rush into Ripple at the moment. There were times when we got faked out and we thought that we'd, you know, go back and see these levels again. I think this was in USD. This is when Ripple hit like $3 or something. So another thing that I think intrigues people about Ripple is the low cost. People have this idea that, you know, if something's low cost, you can make more money with it. You can certainly buy more tokens or coins, but that doesn't really speak to the value of your portfolio. Excuse me. So I would definitely not buy something because it's cheap or because you can buy more coins. Crypto is fractional, right? You can buy a fractional amount. It's not like stocks where you have to buy an entire share in order to be invested. So I yeah, if we take a look at something even more shorter, like a shorter term increment, just to see if we can spot something right on the charts. Yeah, there's nothing really of note on Ripple, right? That it just continues along this kind of downtrend, right, in steps fashion. And it looks like based on the RSI that it's losing momentum. But I don't think you have to jump into a Ripple trade. Really, you could pick some up now for the long term. I do think Ripple will be around in the long term, whether you agree with it or not, whether you like the idea of Ripple or not. So you definitely could pick some up and just hold it and never look at it again. But there isn't really any signs of any sort of real bullish momentum with Ripple, at least with the charts. And it seems to be immune to good news, right? Again, if it's not news that, hey, Ripple's being added to Coinbase, people are like, oh fuck, I don't want Ripple. Yes to live trading. Okay, so a lot of people have been wanting live trading. So okay, let's do that. Smash up the likes. I haven't even looked at the likes, but yes, always smash up the likes. Um, Let's see. XVG, don't forget. That sounded like a threat, Sandro. Damn. All right. I won't forget. Let's do XVG. All right. So it looks like I had some price targets here from previous where the price was previous to the, you know, this crash that we had recently. So XVG again, I mean it looks like most other altcoins in the top right now, right? You see the significant downtrend since probably, what is this, January right here. And yeah, I mean, again, extremely low volume. Like that's what's killing crypto is this extremely low volume right here. Like um we need more money coming in. And I talked about this in a previous video, is that part of the reason with alts is that there's a dilution factor. 800 new alts, you know, being added last year. That is killing the game for alts that are considered legitimate, if you consider them legitimate, or at least alts that are in the top 20 or 30. It's killing the game for them. So nothing really to remark here. I mean, you could get Verge for really cheap. If we do ever see a bull run like we saw at the end of December, at the end of the year last year in December, then yeah, I mean, all this stuff is really cheap. You can pick up all these crumbs and just hold, you know, until the end of the year and see whether we actually get another bull run. So really is pretty unremarkable chart, besides a steady downtrend that looks like there are no signs of a bullish reversal. So all right, let's go back to the chat. Jeff Handsome. Jeff, thank you, man. I didn't even know you can do that. Thank you for the donation here. Thanks for everything, bro. I'm going to join the Patreon. Can you show us what sort of analysis alerts you've got going on over there? You must have joined a little bit late, because I actually did show some of the outdated trade alerts. I'll go over that again. Whoops, not that. that. So here are some of the old trade alerts. And again, I don't mind showing these because they are old, they're outdated, but you see that they happen almost on a daily basis. There are times when I won't send out a trade alert just to send it. I mean, people that are part of the Patreon know this. And the reason I won't do that is because I would not tell you, or I would not lead you to be making trades that I wouldn't do myself. And there are times when sitting on the sideline is way more important than and way more of a viable strategy than actually getting into a trade. So there are certain days where I just won't send a trend alert because I'm on, I'm on the sidelines waiting for a breakout or some sort of market confirmation, and I'm just not sure about what the market is going to do. And I'm very honest about that. But this is what the trade alerts look like. So you'll have, my analysis as well as like a stop loss level, an entry level, stop loss level, a profit taking level. So if you look at this, I'll usually measure what the possible profit taking level is, and this is on Neo. Again, you see that that sideways channel, trading sideways pattern. So, but yeah, that's what the trade alerts look like. Obviously, we have a Patreon chat as well. This is where all the Patreons talk about trades that we're making or ask me questions about certain trades or charts, whatever. So yeah, you get access to the exclusive chat section as well. So it's definitely not a requirement. It's, if you get benefit out of it, then I'm happy. But I'll be producing free content and be involved in the chat and do these live streams as often as I can. So, all right. So we are running up on time here. So if there are any last minute questions that you want to ask, I'll see if I can answer them shortly, but I'm looking to end the live stream pretty shortly. I don't like to go over an hour, to be honest. So, all right. Ripple Brad Garlinghouse talks about the XRP adoption in one of the new Ripple videos. Oh, I'll check that out, Ralph. Thanks for that info. I do think it's a great project. Again, it's not in the spirit of crypto. But that aside, I just judging it from an objective standpoint, it's a great project, and you can see by the adoption rate that it has among companies and governments. I think that it can do really good, but I don't know if it should be traded as a crypto as opposed to as a corporation. We'll see. Ghost asks, any plans on doing any videos on shorting BTC? No. I mean, obviously I do shorting. I don't really short in crypto. There are definitely opportunities that, especially in 2018, where that is probably in a more viable strategy than it was last year. There was a time when you would be an idiot if you shorted crypto because it was so volatile in a way. It was volatile, but it was trending upwards so fast that shorting it was just, like committing suicide. However, in 2018, there's a lot of opportunity for that. Excuse me. But yeah, I mean, I short when it comes to stocks and options and stuff, but not crypto, man. I don't know. It doesn't feel right to me intrinsically, right? It's like that dude at the roulette table, not roulette, but the dude at the craps table who knows that a craps is coming up, and instead of betting like everyone is betting on the pass line where you're hoping for a 7 or 11, you bet opposite, and you bet on you bet on the craps to come up on the dice. So, and that dude is always looked at as being a shitty person on the craps table. So no, I guess if there's enough demand, I can show you what is involved in shorting and on what exchanges you can short and what mechanisms from a charting perspective you can look at in order to short. But it's not really something that I want to get into, again, unless there's a lot of demand for it, then I will. Will Binance support the Monero fork? Carlos Arredondo asks. As of now, I don't think so. I didn't see any recent news that there was any support for the fork. Just to speak on the Monero fork, it doesn't seem like there's actually support from from a lot of exchanges, as well as from the Monero core team on the Monero V fork. Just based off what I was reading, that I'll get into forks in a later video, maybe in a later live chat. But forks right now looks like the way that dev teams are using in order to generate funds, as opposed to going through an ICO route, right? Like forks is the new ICO. And since we're dealing with open source technology, and since names like Bitcoin and Monero aren't trademarked or copywritten, they're just names that anybody can use, or even Litecoin, then you can be a dev team and create a Litecoin Cash, or you can create a Litecoin Diamond or something, and use the Litecoin name or the Bitcoin name, because there's no violation that there's no rule that you're in violation of. And you can take open source software and create your own coin, and call it, Monero X or Monero Y, and say, this is an improved Monero, but it has nothing to do with the OG Monero team, or the OG Litecoin team, or Bitcoin team. So that's why you'll see a lot of people frowning upon most of the forks, because they aren't really supported, or most of the hard forks, because they aren't really supported by the core team, and the dev team that is producing it is just using the name, the popularity of using the name based on the popularity of a certain crypto. So Monero seems to be in the same boat, but I noticed that that's more and more a mechanism used to raise funds, as opposed to going through an ICO route. You could just say, oh yeah, this dev team is going to fork Monero or fork Bitcoin, and here's the new name. It's going to be Bitcoin something. And, it's going to be traded, and they're going to be, they're going to generate funds. They're going to generate funds from that. So, as of now, I don't think Binance will support it. I'll keep you guys updated. So, Nick Kesselring, love the channel, bro. Thanks for all the great knowledge. Carlos, thank you, sir. SPCell24 says hello. All right, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for your comments. Thank you for your questions. And thanks for allowing me to do this. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel. I should have probably said that in the beginning, but go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. Let me know if you like this time zone as opposed to the other one. I'm trying to accommodate all of you viewers in different parts of the world. I know when I was doing the night ones, it wasn't convenient for people that were in the UK, for instance, or certain parts of Asia. So I'm trying to accommodate everyone. Go ahead and subscribe. Hit that notification bell. Thank you for everything, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace.